In the stillness of the graveyard, a sense of reverence hung in the air. The sun began to set, casting long shadows over the weathered headstones that dotted the landscape. Each stone marked a life once vibrant, now resting peacefully beneath the earth. On this somber evening, a group of workers gathered, their boots crunching softly on the gravel path. They were not just laborers. They were guardians of memories, tied irrevocably to the railroad that had shaped their lives and claimed so many. The sound of hammers echoed in the distance as stakes were driven into the ground for new tracks. Each stroke resonated like a distant heartbeat, intertwining their existence with that of those who had come before them. In this sacred space, they remembered friends and family who lost their lives while building the very railroads that connected towns and families across the land. It was here that the hammer struck rhythmically, creating a somber melody spoken through wood and metal. As they stood among the graves, stories floated in the cool breeze. The accounts of ambitions thwarted, laughter shared, and dreams cherished, all captured in whispered hymns sung softly by the workers. They knew each strike of iron against iron not only built a way for trains to travel but also sang notes of remembrance for those who would forever remain silent beneath the earth. In that quiet graveyard, love and loss mingled, forging a bond between the living and those they honored with every hymn sung amidst their labor. The workers stood in a loose circle, their faces etched with lines that told stories of hard labor and relentless struggle. Each man wore worn clothing, stained with sweat and dirt from long hours spent under the sun. Their hands were calloused, the fingers thickened by years of gripping tools, driving spikes into the earth to lay tracks for the trains that would take people far away. This was no ordinary job. It demanded strength, endurance, and unwavering dedication. Every morning began before dawn, when the world was still asleep. The workers would rise early, knowing that each day brought new challenges. They pulled heavy carts filled with iron spikes and wooden ties, feeling the weight of their responsibilities on their shoulders. With every swing of the hammer, they not only shaped the landscape but also laid a foundation for their families' futures. Yet, there was a heavy cost. Many had suffered injuries or lost friends in accidents that left them haunted by memories. Despite these hardships, they found strength in camaraderie. Sharing laughs and stories while they worked helped lighten the burden of their labor. As they hammered away beneath the open sky, their thoughts often drifted to those who had perished while working alongside them. The toll of their labor was not just physical. It carried an emotional weight that lingered long after the sun dipped below the horizon. Each strike resonated with both pride in their work and sorrow for those no longer with them. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting warm hues over the graveyard, a familiar sound began to rise among the workers. They started humming softly, and soon their voices merged into rich harmonies that floated through the air like a gentle breeze. Singing hymns while they worked had become a cherished tradition, a practice passed down through generations of laborers who found solace in music amidst their struggles. With every note sung, the weight of their burdens seemed to lighten. The melodies echoed off the headstones, carrying messages of hope and resilience. It was as if each hymn created a bridge between their labor and their losses, turning hard work into something beautiful and meaningful. The songs were not just an escape. They were a reminder that they were not alone in their hardships. Together, they forged a community bound by shared experiences and unwavering faith. The lyrics often spoke of strength in times of trial, offering encouragement to press on despite pain and sorrow. As they hammered spikes into the ground, their voices rose higher, intertwining with the rhythmic strikes of their tools. In those moments, despair transformed into determination, a shared promise that even amid struggle, there was always room for joy and brotherhood. Each hymn served as both tribute and therapy, allowing them to honor those lost while celebrating the life they still had. Singing elevated their labor from mere toil to a sacred ritual, filling the air with hope that transcended even the darkest moments. As the workers continued their task, the railroad spikes they hammered into the ground began to take on deeper meanings. These simple, iron objects symbolized not only the physical labor they poured into each project but also the memories of those who had come before them. Each spike represented a connection to the past, a testament to the lives lost while building the very tracks upon which trains would one day travel. With every strike, the sound of metal against metal echoed through the graveyard, forming a chorus that resonated with both strength and sorrow. The workers felt a profound sense of responsibility as they drove these spikes into the earth. They understood that each one was like a marker, a silent tribute to their fellow laborers who had sacrificed everything for progress. This act transformed the mundane task of laying tracks into a sacred duty that bridged the living with the dead. In their minds, every spike embedded in the soil became a part of a larger story, a story of hardship, dreams, and resilience. As they worked together, they recalled names and faces of those who had passed, celebrating their contributions by honoring their memory through labor. The rhythmic pounding of hammers was not just about building railroads. It was also about constructing a legacy that would endure beyond their own lives. In this way, railroad spikes became more than tools. They were links connecting generations, reminding the workers that even in death, their friends remained a vital part of their journey. Each tolling strike symbolized an unbreakable bond, intertwining their love for those lost with unwavering determination to carry on their work. As the sun continued its descent, a rhythmic sound filled the graveyard, creating a unique symphony of labor. The hammers struck the spikes with a steady beat, each hit combining strength and purpose. The metal echoed against the earth, producing a melody that wove through the air like a warm embrace. It was no longer just the sound of work. It had evolved into an artistic expression, transforming the labor of building into something beautiful and profound. The workers became lost in this rhythm, the repetition guiding their movements. Each swing of the hammer resonated with a life of its own, syncing with their hearts as if they were playing an ancient song. The sound traveled across the graveyard, gently mingling with the soft whispers of the wind and the rustling leaves. It was an orchestra of remembrance, where every strike told a story, a celebration of hard work intertwined with echoes of loss. As they hammered away, an invisible connection formed among them. They could feel their shared history both as workers and as mourners. This musical piece lifted their spirits, allowing them to find joy amid hard labor, while also honoring those who had gone before them. In that moment, they were not just laying tracks. They were creating a living tribute, imbuing each spike with love and remembrance. The melodies rang clear in the twilight air, reminding everyone present that art can be born from toil, and that even amid struggle, there is beauty to be found in connection and perseverance. As the workers continued their rhythm of hammering and singing, the impact of their songs began to ripple through the community. The sounds of their hymns reached beyond the graveyard, touching the hearts of families mourning the loss of loved ones who had worked alongside them. Each note carried a message of comfort, reminding those left behind that their grief was shared and understood by others who had experienced similar loss. Families gathered at the edges of the graveyard, drawn by the haunting melodies that floated through the air. They listened intently, feeling a sense of connection as they recognized the familiar voices of the workers. The songs became a source of solace, binding them together in shared sorrow and remembrance. In those moments, laughter would blend with tears as memories were exchanged, stories of love, bravery, and dreams that once thrived. The community emerged stronger from this collective experience. With every hymn sung, they not only honored the departed, but also reaffirmed their commitment to supporting one another. The workers' songs transformed into a healing ritual, creating a safe space for people to express their feelings and find comfort in unity. As dusk settled over the graveyard, it was evident that these hymns were more than just a tribute. They served as a lifeline, connecting families and workers alike in a powerful embrace of shared grief and hope. The echoes of their labor and love would resonate long after the last note faded, creating an enduring legacy of community and remembrance. Amid the harmonious blend of voices and hammer strikes, one particular hymn emerged as a powerful anthem for the workers. In the sweet By and By, this timeless song spoke of hope, reunion, and the promise of a peaceful afterlife, resonating deeply with those who sang it. The lyrics painted vivid images of a serene place where loved ones would gather again, providing solace to their aching hearts as they remembered friends lost in the pursuit of building the railroad. As the workers sang this hymn together, their voices intertwined like threads in a tapestry, each note reflecting their shared experiences and emotions. The chorus echoed through the graveyard, infusing the air with a sense of purpose and unity. It became more than just a song. It was a reminder that even in grief, there was light and connection to be found. For those who had lost family members on the job, in the sweet by and by served as a beacon of hope. It allowed them to envision their loved ones watching over them, encouraging them to continue their labor with pride. The hymn's message resonated deeply within the workers' hearts, instilling courage to face each day despite the weight of sorrow. As they hammered away, the refrain lingered in their minds, transforming every strike into an act of love and remembrance. In this way, the hymn became central to their lives, weaving together their struggles and aspirations while honoring those who had passed. It was a melody that connected not only their present, but also their shared dreams for a brighter future beyond the grave. As the workers continued to hammer away, their minds drifted to the graves they passed daily, each one telling a story of connection and loss. For Samuel, a veteran of the railroad, the grave of his younger brother, Thomas, weighed heavily on his heart. Thomas had been just starting his career when an accident claimed his life. Every time Samuel passed the modest headstone adorned with wildflowers, he felt a mix of sorrow and determination. He often whispered a promise to his brother that he would honor him through hard work and dedication. Then there was Maria, a single mother who had lost her husband, Javier, in a tragic mishap while laying tracks. As she hammered her spikes into the earth, she often thought of Javier's laughter and dreams. The sight of his grave nearby served as a reminder of why she persevered each day. For Maria, every song they sang was infused with her longing for him. It fueled her spirit to keep their family's dreams alive. The workers' collective memories mingled as they passed by other graves, each one representing lives intertwined through shared labor. The sacrifices made by their friends and families became a source of strength. They drew inspiration from those who had gone before them. Each strike of the hammer felt like a tribute to their stories, reminders that loss was part of their journey together. In moments of reflection, they understood that grief could transform into motivation. Their labor was not only about building railroads but also about honoring the memories of those they loved. In doing so, they forged an unbreakable bond with the past, while keeping the legacy of their fallen comrades alive in their hearts. The legacy of the railroad stretched far beyond the steel tracks and wooden ties. It resonated deeply within the heart of the community. As the workers laid down the tracks, they were not merely creating a transportation network. They were weaving together the fabric of their lives, connecting families and towns in ways that would last generations. The railroad brought progress, opening doors to opportunities that had once seemed out of reach, allowing goods and people to travel farther and faster than ever before. However, this advancement came at a significant cost. The sacrifices made by those who lost their lives during its construction served as a constant reminder of the price paid for progress. Each time a train rumbled by, it echoed stories of those who had faced danger in pursuit of their dreams. Communities gathered along the tracks to honor their memories during local events, sharing stories that celebrated their courage and grit. In time, memorials were erected not just at the graves of fallen workers, but also along the railroad itself. Markers adorned with flowers and memories that reminded all who passed of the lives intertwined with the railways. The workers' songs continued to thrive, echoing their dedication and resilience, infusing life into every inch of track laid. Thus, the railroad became a symbol of both movement and stillness, a path toward a brighter future built on the foundations of sacrifice. It united families in shared remembrance while propelling them forward into an ever-evolving world, ensuring that the legacy of those who had fallen would never be forgotten and would inspire generations to come. In the quiet moments of dusk, as the workers continued their rhythmic hammering and heartfelt singing, a powerful tribute unfolded before them, a blending of labor and love that echoed throughout the graveyard. With each strike of the hammer, they not only drove the spikes into the ground but also embedded the memories of their lost comrades into the very fabric of their work. The sound became a symphony of remembrance, a melody that honored those who had sacrificed so much for progress. Through their shared struggle, the workers transformed sadness into strength, ensuring that the stories of the departed would never fade away. The act of singing hymns like "In the Sweet By and By" provided both comfort and connection, weaving a tapestry of hope that resonated in every heart. This is how they celebrated life, by keeping the memories alive through their songs and labor. The sunset painted the sky with hues of orange and purple, mirroring the emotions that filled the air. Each worker felt an unbreakable bond with those they honored. The rhythm of their hammers synced with their hearts, creating a legacy that was as much about the living as it was about the dead. As they finished their work for the day, they left behind not just tracks but a lasting melody that would linger in the hearts of all who passed by. In this way, they ensured that the memories of those lost would forever be celebrated through song, transforming grief into a powerful force that united and inspired generations to come.